Hey, Esther and Ben here, and today we're going to be talking about slow cooker stew.
Slow cooker stew is like one of the easiest foods to do because it cooks like over time. It's a slow cooker. Slow cooker stew, our family use it the most like for sporting events. You can totally package this up and take it to almost any sporting event. It's super easy, super healthy, and it makes a bit of a mess. So,
it travels pretty well.
Take napkins. It travels well, but take napkins.
There we go. So, a couple of minutes, I want to talk about one of the foundational tools of our kitchen, and it's on page 1 or 2 of your cookbook, which is, this is my slow cooker. This happens to be an all-clad 7-quart. The inside is anodized aluminum, so it doesn't leach into your food. You use silicone utensils with it. All right, so here are my ingredients. This took me 10 minutes to prep for the video, and normally I don't sit here and prep, I just dump right in the pot. But here we have grass-fed beef from our local butcher. This is 1.5 pounds.
Very good,
very good.
Grass-fed.
Yes, and grass-fed beef is great because it's high in omega-3s. The animals are fed on grass, not corn and soy, so it's naturally anti-inflammatory.
You don't want GMOs in your steak.
That's right. Next we have
potatoes.
We use Yukon Gold because they're buttery, but you could use butternut squash or acorn squash. And I also want to mention, if you're vegetarian or vegan, you can certainly swap out beans for the meat in here. You don't have to use meat if you don't eat meat.
You could also use like rice. Rice makes a very nice base for the sauce.
Yes, you can really stew. You know, we call it garbage stew or garbage soup sometimes because we just go through our fridge, we pick out the vegetables. It's a little bit different each time. But these potatoes, I cut up 5 potatoes. I cut up a bunch of parsley. You can use any fresh herbs that you like though. You can use dried herbs too. I cut up 3 carrots.
Carrots are very essential and good for your sides, guys.
Vitamin A. Onion. Now, you're welcome to caramelize onions. Something I do a lot while I'm cooking just on a weeknight is we caramelize onions in a skillet because they need a long cooking time at a low temperature. So if you have leftover caramelized onions, dump them in here.
Oh, and guys, remember, always wear goggles while you're chopping onions. It's a very handy tip. It's kind of weird, but it always works.
It does work. Now, I have a tablespoon of raw honey and a tablespoon of Bragg's apple cider vinegar because the sweetness and the acids help tenderize the meat. The meats. Arby's eats the meats.
We have the meats, even though we've never eaten there.
Now, this is Vittoria tomato sauce. My husband happens to love Rayo's. You can use an organic tomato sauce. Just use either imported Italian tomatoes or organic, because otherwise tomatoes are also GMO.
You can also dice these. You don't need to use the sauce.
Yes.
But tomatoes are very essential if you want a good stew.
Yes, you can absolutely use fresh tomatoes. That's right, Ben. Now, if you don't have fresh parsley, you can use dried parsley. You can use fresh garlic. Sometimes I just throw in dried granulated garlic and onion powder. And are we done here?
Yeah, you may also want to add some onion powder or salt, but then again, that's more for seasoning. This is the essential.
But I'm so glad you brought that up because salt is best when you add it at the end. It's better to undersalt than oversalt. And sometimes as the flavors marinate and come together, sometimes you think you need salt, sometimes you don't.
Also, you may, for this slow cooker stew, it's wow, this is really big. How can I possibly undersalt? Believe me, you can. Little salt goes a long way. And always remember that when you're making stews or basically anything that requires salt.
Love it. Okay, last but not least, so if you can hand me that lid, the silver lid, please. Last but not least, so we'll put this in, I'll plug this in and I'll cook it on low for 8 hours. And then, I'll leave it on low. And I'm making this on a Saturday night because our skating is on Sunday. So tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon when I'm reheating the stew to pack it up to go, I'll add some spinach. And just enough to let it, you don't even have to cook it, just put it in a warm stew and it will slowly wilt. I don't like to add too far ahead of time because it shrinks down to nothing and then you really don't feel like you're eating it.
Also, what you said just not to do
Yes.
works really well. If your kid like isn't a big fan of spinach, just like spinach, it will grow on them. Spinach is something to definitely get in the habit of. Back to caramelized onions, putting them on top of spinach, eating them, really good stuff. It's a great recipe.
It's another favorite in our house. So let's talk about, and again, I list these storage containers in your cookbook, but these are so adorable. They have a little handy spot in the lid for plastic fork, knife, and spoon. If you don't like plastic, you can certainly get bamboo, or you can use your own utensils. You know, these are a little bit small, so like a child-sized utensils work really well.
Or like wood.
Yeah.
You could always use wood utensils.
So, and then the inside, I just want to show you, has 3 different compartments, and these are glass, so they can go from the freezer to the oven to the dishwasher. So that concludes today's cooking lesson, guys. I hope you're having fun with this, and I hope this inspires you to experiment. You don't have to follow our recipes exactly. Feel free to get creative on your own. You can use chicken. There's a recipe for slow cooker chicken in the cookbook, so feel free to use things, or sweet potatoes, or things that really excite you.
Experimenting is as natural as the ingredients itself.
I love this kid. All right, guys, signing off. We'll see you soon. Bye.